ground control to Major Tom.
Let's take a look at another famous Mandela effect with a lot of problems. The Houston, we have a problem Mandela effect. Many of us were shocked when that famous movie line spoken by Tom Hanks in the movie Apollo 13 changed. It had changed from Tom Hanks, who played the part of Commander Jim Lavelle, to saying, Houston, we had a problem. We were all, no way! He said we have a problem, and not had a problem. And then, about a year later, it switched back to this.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have a problem. You know why? The actual phrase is now this.
Hey, Houston, we've had a problem here. Can say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
It was plagued by bad omens and bad luck from the very beginning.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here. So now the movie and the current reality don't match, but the problem gets even bigger and weirder. You know why? Because Commander Jim Lavelle, who was played by Tom Hanks, wasn't the one that even said it.
Now, what are you saying, Fred?
Well, I think you know what I'm saying.
Now, wait a minute. All I did was stir those tanks.
Instead, it was Jack Swigert, played by Kevin Bacon, who was the command module pilot who said it. This even confused Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show when he interviewed those astronauts just a couple of months after the incident. In this clip from The Tonight Show of June 3rd, 1970, note that Commander Jim Lavelle is sitting closest to Johnny, and Jack Swigert is sitting the farthest away.
When you first knew that you had the trouble, that something was wrong, who's the first to know? You were the first one, I think, to radio back to Mission Control in Houston, right?
No, actually it was Jack. Jack was the man who said, I think we have a problem here.
Which I guess turned out to be the understatement of the century, I guess.
I think we have a problem here. Did you notice how Johnny Carson was a bit confused when he was corrected by Commander Lavelle that it was instead Jack Swigert that said those words? So what's going on? The global narrative tells us that Hollywood simply misquoted who said what and what they said for a greater dramatic effect. The global narrative tells us that the director of Apollo 13, Ron Howard, wasn't really concerned about getting the details correct. But is that true? Even though the movie Apollo 13 isn't considered a documentary, Ron Howard took great pains to get all the details correct.
Okay, we're gonna rack back that way. Let's try rehearsal. You stand by, please.
Director Ron Howard brings to life this gripping drama, the true story of 3 astronauts struggling to survive in a crippled spacecraft.
The odds against them making it back were kind of 10 to 1. The more I kept learning about the actual mission, the more I realized just how dramatic truth in this particular instance is.
Stuff here. People have forgotten what these guys on Apollo 13 and everybody at NASA and what the world went through at that time. And I think Ron Howard has been very true to the story.
You have a great story and you have all this incredible technology and you have something that was very important historically.
Houston, we have a problem. Let's break this down and take a look into the Akashic Records to reveal a hidden meaning. First, let's consider the frequency of the words and look at the words Houston, as in Houston, Texas. U, H-O-U, sounds like you, Y-O-U. Stun, S-T-O-N, sounds like stun, which can mean dazed or astonished or shocked. Is that how this Mandela effect makes you feel? Are you stunned? Next, let's take we have or weave. Weave, W-E'-V-E, sounds like weave, W-E-A-V-E, such as what a spider does to spin its web. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we wish to deceive with this timeline craziness. There is also the word problem, which is from the Greek word probelion. pro meaning before, and balian meaning to throw, possibly to throw forth a situation or a difficult problem to solve. Perhaps a weaved hairball of timeline problems. Next, what do the Akashic Records reveal? Perhaps this is a negative timeline edit involving a negative faction from Lemuria, which is a past civilization like Atlantis. This negative faction is attempting to become the first species to colonize the moon. They are hacking into the moon's Akashic records of information. Perhaps this negative faction is being led by a human-reptoid hybrid species. Perhaps CERN of the present and their Large Hadron Collider cyclotron magic circle technology is also involved, using CERN like a magic wand. Is it possible that CERN has stolen time travel abilities from the god Shiva, and that's why the statue of Shiva is placed outside CERN headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland? Shiva is associated with time and is said to be both the destroyer and creator of all things. Or maybe the scientists at CERN just think that statues of Indian mythological deities are cool. Are there any other Mandela effects related to this? Perhaps there is. Perhaps the wet moon, or what is called the Cheshire Cat moon, is part of these Apollo 13 Mandela effects. For some, the wet moon, or Cheshire Cat moon, or smiling moon are Mandela effects. It is certainly for myself. I was shocked to see the moon in this orientation a few months ago. When this visual phenomena happens, the moon forms a smile. This Mandela effect shows that we are in a timeline where the orbit of the moon has changed. The moon no longer orbits around the Earth the way many of us remember. Remember also that the Apollo 13 mission was all about landing on the moon. From what I tuned into, both the Apollo 13 movie changes and Who Said What related to the actual astronaut dialogue and the new orbit of the moon, which reveals the wet moon, are directly connected and reveal what is going on in the unseen to attempt to anchor this timeline into our current reality timeline as we migrate into what you could call the golden age, or the age of truth, or the graduation timeline. When this is resolved, I believe we will see further Mandela effects related to the Apollo 13 mission and perhaps even the orbit of the moon. Perhaps. Does this all sound way out there? Because wait, there's more.